All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the lightweight division talking about Devin Haney having a very harsh response to something that was said by Bob Arum about him fighting Vasyl Lomachenko. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to be talking about the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Devin "The Dream" Haney, and a proposed fight with Vasyl Lomachenko. What Bob Arum had to say about it and the unhappy response that we got back from Devin Haney about it. Now, before I get into that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, as usual, thank you so much for your continued support for the channel. If you are a new viewer, definitely consider accepting my invitation to hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified of when we release more videos, which we do pretty much on a daily basis, and both in the video format like this one and in the live stream format, where you definitely will get a lot of conversations in the live streams where, you know, on things we don't really address in the videos. So definitely when you subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we do that. All right, so let's get into this. Lightweight division, one of the more stacked divisions in boxing, along with the welterweight division, the 140-pound division, and the 154-pound division, pretty much stacked with a whole bunch of talent. Right now, the champion in that division is Devin "The Dream" Haney, who holds all of the major championship belts, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBO. He won those belts in his last fight against George Kambosos, who beat Teofimo Lopez in the fight before that. So now you have Devin Haney with all of the belts looking for the big fights in the lightweight division. Unfortunately for Devin, they have not been forthcoming, and he is not happy. Now, Bob Arum, who is the founder of Top Rank, and at the moment, the promoter for Devin Haney, the promoter for Vasyl Lomachenko, the promoter for Shakur Stevens, who's at 130 pounds, Nakatani, who's at 135, Nakathila, who's there, Comey, who's there, pretty much has a lock on all of those belts as a promoter at lightweight, said what he thinks is going to happen next. And he said Vasyl Lomachenko will be fighting Devin Haney after Devin Haney fights George Kambosos, right? After Vasyl Lomachenko has an opportunity to come over to the United States, get a tune-up, and then he will be ready to go, right? So what Vasyl Lomachenko is going to do is he's going to get a tune-up, and then after that, he is going to, if Devin Haney is able to beat George Kambosos in that rematch, would fight Devin Haney after that. Now, Devin Haney's response to that I found, hilarious. But at the same time, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't quite know if he really has like a full grip on what the situation is. Because he says, basically he responded, tune up my DICK, right? Like criticizing Vasyl Lomachenko because Vasyl Lomachenko would have to take a tune-up, right? And saying, I want that fight with Vasyl Lomachenko right now, right? I'm the champion. I don't have to wait. Now, that to me seems a little bit like, I don't know, man, did you think before you said that? Because that's not the case. First and foremost, Devin Haney has a rematch with George Kambosos. Devin Haney promised George, in exchange for a shot at George Kambosos' belts, Devin Haney promised to give him a rematch if George Kambosos lost, right? So that is a commitment that Devin Haney made with George Kambosos. So if he does not leave the weight class and go to 140 or come off a lot of money for a step aside and just allow him to just continue to move off, he already has an obligation. Now, the second thing about it was he said, he wanted the fight right now, tune up my DICK, right? Well, Devin Haney's a hell of a fighter. He's a terrific fighter. And Vasyl Lomachenko has not fought in a while, right? He's an older fighter, well into his maybe 33, 34 years old now. And the man is coming off of being in a situation where he may not have been able to train at all. It may have been limited because he's over there in the Ukraine when the Ukraine is being invaded by Putin and them. So the idea of him coming over and getting a tune-up before he fights for all the belts against Vasyl Lomachenko, against Devin Haney, only makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't he take a fight just to make sure everything is right, everything is sharp before he got in there with the guy that holds all the belts in the division? Especially at that age, right? Who was the last guy he fought? He fought Richard Comey, right? It was a good fight, but a fight that he absolutely dominated. Before that, he had been, pretty active. But at this point in time, it's been a little bit of time, and you don't really know where Vasyl Lomachenko is with that, right? But if he was able to get that, that fight right away, that would be great. I would love to see it, and I certainly hope we get to see the Devin Haney Lomachenko fight, whether it's next or whether it is after Devin Haney gets basically a free paycheck for taking a trip down to Australia again. But the idea that, Devin doesn't have to wait because he's champion, that's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? See, everybody has a right to do what they want to do. You being the champion, or fights can be mandated for you, right? Where you have to defend your belt according to the different sanctioning bodies. Or if you have a rematch clause where you already agreed to fight somebody else in exchange for getting in the title, you have to do that, just like Tyson Fury had to do it. And interestingly enough, Tyson Fury kind of pulled that same kind of attitude too about him being the champion. He does what he wants. Nah, when the dude took Tyson Fury to court and made him sit down there in a court of law, and they were like, look, man, you're going to have to take this rematch. That's just what it is. But somebody else, you can't force Lomachenko to not take a tune-up and jump in there with you right away, especially if Vasyl Lomachenko has good respect for Devin Haney, which he should, because Devin Haney's a great fighter. That's not anything you want to do if you don't feel like you're all the way 100% up there. Not everybody is Errol Spence Jr. A whole lot of people will jump out there and take tune-ups before they get into major fights. And it's not something that is, dumb. That's something that is smart to do. And Vasyl Lomachenko deserves to be able to do it, if not for any other reason, because the man's got free choice. But even more importantly, because Devin Haney's already committed to a fight with George Kambosos because Devin Haney agreed to that. But whatever the case is, Devin Haney's going to get past George Kambosos with no problem. Vasyl Lomachenko more than likely is going to get past his tune-up at around the same time in October. And then after that, those guys can fight in the early part of 2023. And what I'm sure will be a great fight. I favor Devin Haney to win the fight, but wouldn't be surprised if Lomachenko pulled the cat out the bag because, hey man, he's an excellent, excellent fighter. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.